The Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference is coming to Dallas, Texas, February 16, 17, and 18 in 2018. If you know of a better way to get the latest insider knowledge about crypto, to hear directly from the top minds in this field, to interact personally with 800 fellow crypto lovers, hodlers, investors, miners, traders, developers, and founders, then I'd like to hear about it. If you don't, then you don't want to miss out. Register today for the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference. Go to bitcoinsuperconference.com and register today as a super early bird to get the lowest rates on tickets and hotel rooms. That's bitcoinsuperconference.com.
Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology Podcasts with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost Here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Future Tech Podcast. My name is Josh Thomas, and I'm here with Rashid Khan and Shun Kai from Gonetwork.co. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, welcome. And so the Go Network is, as I understand it, a highly scalable, low-cost mobile network for Ethereum. Tell me a little bit more about what this does.
So right now, if you look at the whole cryptocurrency space, there is a lot of good technology here, and there is a lot of potential here, and there is a lot of interest within people, and the whole industry is sort of exploding. But in terms of getting that technology to the mass consumer market, it's still not there. And to get it there, we need to make it very fast and scalable so that it can handle lots of transactions per second. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to get Ethereum to that level. So that's why we are building Gonetwork. And our strategy is to go mobile first. And because we think that mobile is one of the biggest ways that consumers are really interacting with technology right now. So that is what our goal is, to build an infrastructure layer for Ethereum so that we can make all the transactions cheaper and faster.
Okay. And so building it mobile first, describe what that means to the casual consumer. I can buy and sell Ethereum from my mobile phone?
So not just binds on Ethereum, you can transact in any ERC20 token. So for example, if a merchant wants to sell some items and wants to accept Ethereum or any other ERC20 tokens, right now they have to go through the entire Ethereum blockchain. And that blockchain can only handle 3 to 4 transactions per second. With our solutions, we will enable so that they can have thousands or even millions of transactions, and at the same time reducing the cost per transaction. So if you want to buy something right now, you take your phone and you just do tap to pay, and the transaction happens right away. If you want to do the same thing with Ethereum, that's not possible to be done so fast, and it's not so cheap. It takes, let's say a few minutes to 10 minutes for transactions to process. And sometimes if the blockchain is slow because there is a lot of network congestion, then it might take even more time. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to get it to a level and a scale where it's similar to, some of the very fast technologies that we have in the market right now.
Okay. All right, I understand. So, and what was the motivation behind developing this, and especially the decision for mobile first? Tell me about what led to that.
Yeah, so initially when we started, we were actually thinking of building just Go Exchange, which is a virtual goods commerce platform, so that we could sell virtual goods within our games, because me and Kai have a very strong gaming background on iOS. We made Happy Park, which became one of the world's biggest theme park game on iOS. So initially we were thinking, okay, let's put all the virtual contents into the blockchain, because that makes everything very secure, and also there will be less fraud, because there's a lot of fraud problem in the virtual gaming marketplace. So we built Go Exchange, and then we found out that it's actually not possible to scale it. There was no good scaling solution. Then we did some research, and there were similar people who were working on projects like Radiant Network. But all of these solutions were not really solving scalability on mobile. So that's why we thought that, okay, let's first focus on solving the scalability problem. And we saw a lot of potential in this space also. So then we thought of, working on network. And we found this problem basically through our experimentation, like what we were trying to do. And then when we looked at the scaling potential of what we needed, there was no solution that existed. So we had to solve this first. So that's why we are creating Go Network.
Okay, so you developed an iOS game, and so you're kind of transferring those skills and assets that you had in that area over to Ethereum and the blockchain.
Yeah, so we have developed iPhone games for a long time. I'm a computer engineer from University of Waterloo. Kai is a software engineer, and our CTO is also an engineer from University of Toronto. So we are all very familiar with all the technology aspect of all of this thing, and we find it very interesting. And we see a lot of potential in the whole blockchain market also.
Okay, very good. And so expanding out from processing Ethereum transactions quickly and being able to scale that, what are some other potential uses for this technology?
Yeah, so anyone who wants to have this use case, anyone who wants to create a business or create some sort of an application that requires fast and cheap transactions, they will use Gonetwork. So this is like we are trying to build a network infrastructure here, right? So you can think of it like internet when internet was slow dial-up versus lightning network. So or fast internet networks. You can have multiple use cases of it that you can't even think initially, right? But once you have this possibility, then you see a lot of different applications of it.
Okay, understand. And so how much of your gaming background did you apply in developing on the blockchain? How much similarity is there between the two?
In gaming, the idea of actually creating the game engine is very technical. There's a lot of memory management and power management that we had to actually do. So let's say when we are building a game, you want to make sure that you use the hardware effectively. Otherwise, users will have problems where while they play the game, then it will drain the battery very fast. So these are some of the management we had to do in the early days of iPhone. When iPhones were not very strong and they were not that powerful, we had to make sure we do a lot of optimization around that. And we are able to use some of that skills in our Gonetwork project also, because you cannot really run a whole Ethereum node on your phone and mine and settle transactions. Those things are not possible because it will just take a lot of energy from the device. So I think the energy management and the understanding of even the network latency and network problems that we have built some multiplayer games also. One game that we built was called Flappy Party, which became one of the biggest Flappy Bird multiplayer game. And at one time, it was getting almost 100 players per game, per session. So these kind of experiences have helped us. So the optimization part is very important when we are building this, because you want a solution that does not take all the energy from your phone just because you use something that uses Gonetwork.
Okay, understood. And so if I understand correctly, Gonetwork is kind of the underlying technology that you can build other things on top of. Anything that you would need fast transactions for is what you would use Gonetwork to build on top of. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, excellent. And so do you have any other projects that are currently in the works that you can see as examples of Gonetwork, or is it still kind of in development?
It's still in development. And we do have the Go Exchange that we worked on, and the Pocket platform is our project that we worked on while we were at ETHWaterloo. So that's one of our winning submissions at ETHWaterloo, which is one of the largest Ethereum hackathon that happened. So we were one of the 8 winning teams there, and that is something we are also trying to apply Gonetwork on, because Pocket is about there's a consumer and there is a customer aspect to it. So we are thinking of also adding the Gonetwork layer on top of it. So there are different adoption strategies that we are trying to implement here. Once we have Gonetwork, we'll do the Go Exchange. We'll look into Pocket. We'll also find other different use cases that other industries can potentially use. And this is the step-by-step approach that we plan to take.
Okay, very good. So I appreciate you coming on here and sharing this new technology. When do you expect the alpha or beta launches and for this to be fully implemented?
So our goal is to get the initial alpha version out by January of 2018. And then we'll keep implementing it. We'll have to do some security audit around all of that code and have beta launched in a few months while we keep testing it. At the same time, after that, we'll work on integrating it into Go Exchange and find other possible use cases of that. So that's sort of a roadmap initially for the first part of 2018.
Okay, excellent. And so for our audience who may want to learn more about this, what do you recommend that they do?
Yeah, so you should go to our website called gonetwork.co. So all the information is there. Our presentation from Pocket is also there that you guys can check out. And a link to our white paper is also there. And they can also visit our Telegram channel where we are very active and we actively answer those people if they have any questions.
Okay, excellent. Any final thoughts before we go?
I think you asked all the questions that kind of gets all the details on Gonetwork, so it was fun.
Okay, excellent. Shun Kai and Rashid Khan from Gonetwork.co. Thanks very much for joining us, and thank you to our audience for being with us. We'll see you next time here on the Future Tech Podcast.
The Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference is coming to Dallas, Texas, February 16, 17, and 18 in 2018. If you know of a better way to get the latest insider knowledge about crypto, to hear directly from the top minds in this field, to interact personally with 800 fellow crypto lovers, hodlers, investors, miners, traders, developers, and founders, then I'd like to hear about it. If you don't, then you don't want to miss out. Register today for the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference. Go to bitcoinsuperconference.com and register today as a super early bird to get the lowest rates on tickets and hotel rooms. That's bitcoinsuperconference.com.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.